Hey, welcome back to the table, Hexes and Soldiers. Do a brief intro before we get into what's on the table here. I thought I'd go over scales, and I know you guys have noticed a variation thereof on the table. Currently, the smallest scale I have, we'll get to that. But just so to recap for those that don't know or those that forgot, I do have a bunch of these guys. That's 28 millimeter. Black powder warlord stuff that is all painted up. That's the biggest scale I got. They do make bigger scales. I don't often use them, and I think the reason is the bigger the scale, the less table you have to maneuver on. Then we have the, maybe my favorite scale, probably yes. This is the, again, black powder warlord epic battle scale. Got a number of box sets of these, British, French, Prussians. This is like a 13 and a half, just below 15 millimeter scale. And then this is what I originally used to game with. These are all Risk figures. I bought tons and tons of boxed Risk sets. And this is probably about 10 millimeter, something along those lines. Not exactly sure. Served their purpose well enough, but definitely better options now. And then this is the Perry Miniatures scale. It is the Travel Battle stuff that comes with the Travel Battle sets. This is an extra sprue you can buy. Comes in gray, and that's probably close to 6 millimeter, somewhere around there. Comes in strips. There's two separate strips that are based on the bases. And that's what I currently have on the table. Now, my plans for these include potentially, so here's the stands that come with the Perry Miniatures guys, something like that. And here's the stands that come with the Warlord Epic scale. So what I think I might do is base them according to what they're supposed to be based on, which is what came with the Perry Miniature stuff, but then base that on top of this for something along these lines. That way, well, again, so you would say, well, why would you even bother? That way you can move. So whereas if I didn't do it this way, we have 8 separate stands I have to move, and that's primarily why we base things to begin with, is ease of movement. I base 4 stands on a half of a epic stand, and then 4 stands on the other half, break them in half, and then you can maneuver. You only have to maneuver 2 stands instead of 8 little tiny ones. So it's more for like ease of movement. One single epic stand for cavalry that would allow 3 bases on a stand, and similarly for artillery, 3 guns on a base, single long infantry stand. I've got these chits from Axis and Allies. I thought they would make pretty good bases because they fit perfectly on there, these Perry Miniatures guys with the circular base right in the middle of those for the Axis and Allies stand. So that's potentially what I plan to do. I don't want to do anything permanent because I won't just be using these guys on this table. So I still need to have the option to use individual stands instead of clumping them together on a single bigger base. But that's what's been going through my head. So yeah, I busted these guys out. I had planned to do the 28 millimeter because they are painted, and I promised somebody I would bust out the painted ones, but just haven't gotten to it yet. That's still to come, but thought I'd mess with these. So what else? With these guys, they come, the red and the blue, right, come in a box set. I think I've already talked about this. If you want extras, you go on their site. They have single sprues of things that come in gray, and I bought a few of those as well. Never ended up painting them. Had the intention to do so, but I thought a couple of things. A, I'm lazy, and B, I don't think I can color match. So what do I mean? Lazy, I don't want to paint these guys. They're fine red, they're fine blue. But let's say you want more. Well, you got to buy another box set or another box set. I've bought 6 box sets of these, and I still needed more. And I thought, well, again, you've got the gray single sprues you can buy, but they're gray. So what, do I try and paint them red and match the red here? I'm never going to match it. Paint them blue and try and match that hue of blue? Never going to happen. So on a whim, I emailed the Perry brothers, and Alan, of all people, replied and said, hey, well, I'd asked, what are the chances, instead of buying another box set, I've already bought 6 of these things, and I don't want the gray sprues, and I told him why, can I just buy separate red and blue sprues? And the worst they could say is no, but truth be told, they said, yeah, that's fine, we can do that. How many do you want? So I ordered 24 sprues of blue and 24 sprues of red, and all the bases you need to base them. And that was probably not as cheap as I was thinking it would be, but they were nice enough to do it, so we did each other a favor. And now I have enough. So again, what we're looking at here is 8 individual stands in a hex. That's maxed out. It's not required. It just looks better that way. Anything more might look weird, but I can cut it down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 infantry battalions, and that's with 8 stands per hex. I could do up to 18 now with all the sprues I have, red and 18 blue, and that's not even counting the gray, which now I think I'll keep and use as Prussians because of the color. But if I needed to do something bigger, requiring more individual battalions, I can easily cut these down to 6 stands a hex or even 4 stands a hex, and have double or triple what I would have with what we've got here. But as far as visually speaking, it kind of hits a nice sweet spot for me, the 8 stands per hex, and so that's what we're going with. Now, the terrain that is you're looking at is probably familiar to you. This is left over from when I started with ambush, and I ran a Napoleonic scenario on it after that, and then switched it up just a little bit for this, and then after this I'll probably take it down and switch it up completely for something else. So that's what's going on with that. The rules have pretty much stayed the same. The rules that I use, it is, again, still the Battles of Napoleon, Eagle and the Lion stuff, with the house rules that I'm tightening and tightening and tightening until you can't tighten anymore, or you'll strip the screw. But everything seems to be working out. I even came up with a points-based system for this rules system. So there's that, and then I also straight up stole from Field of Glory Napoleonic 2nd edition. They have a whole chapter in there on setting up the table, where to put terrain, where to place troops, and that is pretty cool because sometimes you can't find or don't want ready-made scenarios to use. You will just want to start from scratch and see how it goes, and this is great for that. So I straight up stole that and typed that up and put it in here as well. Even has line of communications, which I haven't used for this scenario, but it's interesting stuff. I may do a little bit more of a deep dive into this stuff at some point, but there's that for the future. And I think that pretty much covers it. This run through takes place in Italy, July 4th, 1806, and it'll be lots of pausing and starting and pausing and starting, which you won't notice on your end, but I really want to try and relinquish the dull, boring stuff of these videos to try and shorten the length. So, for instance, nobody needs to see me individually move everything. So yeah, this should be a much more abbreviated run through, so there's that. Alright, so what do we have? Everybody starts with a mandatory order for both sides, and that would be an attack order. Off camera below, if you go back here, which you can't see, we have all the cards set up for everybody. Each number for each battalion coincides with a card which has the statistical information that is conducive to each battalion. Again, each battalion has an attack order. So we'll start with send dispatches to unit groups and assign orders. Well, that's already been done. First turn, you don't need to worry about that. Later turns, if you want to change things, then that'll be more involved. Move commanders in chief. Again, everybody's where they want to be at this point. Carry out orders, which we will do. So that's where we're at. Carry out orders. And who goes first? So we go through our numerical initiative system looking for the lowest number. And I think that is, we've got a 5 here and a 4. So the 4 is the French, and that is Unit Group 4 on the just approaching the bridge. Now, because they have an attack order, they can only move 1 hex. Had they a maneuver order, they could move 2 hexes, and one might argue they could move even further if they're on a road. There are no roads or streams in the core game. This is added by yours truly, but let me run through and do all the movement. I don't think anybody is within range for firing. If they are, I'll unpause and let you enjoy that, but I'm going to pause this, and when we come back, everybody should be moved. Okay, we do have some units here that can fire. Units all the way on the far side of the screen here. At these two, let's run through that. We'll fire from Group 6, which is light infantry. Let's ring that up. Light infantry, we have +2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's -8, needing 2 or less. Roll a 5, so we definitely got that, and that yields a 5, which is a hit and a retreat. So I need one of these handy dandies. A hit and a retreat, so we'll pull back here. And here's what I said I wasn't going to do on camera, but you know, everybody's going to be okay. Because, and this is also why you base things on a bigger base, so we don't have to move 18 individual guys for 1 unit. But again, I suppose I like to do things in a difficult fashion. These guys are in column, so they're moved back and they took a hit. Okay. What else? These guys here. Is that light infantry as well? What are you? You are line infantry. So instead of +2, that'll be +1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So -7. 2 or less. Definitely got that. And a 4, which is remove a stand. So there's 2 hits right there. And the opening salvo. Let's mark him. And who's next? I'm not going to pause it just yet. We'll see who's next. That was initiative 5. We do have a 6. 1, 2, 3. Nobody in range there. Do they want to move? I'm going to say no. So he's done. And then 7. Who has 7? That is Unit Group 3. Which is British. Unit Group 3 is here. I will pause for those guys to move up or not. If they're in line, they may not be able to move. Let me pause this anyway. Yep, cannot move. Don't know that it's in our interest to. Because then we got to change formation. British do very well firing in line, so they may hang back and just stay there. So that's 2, 3. Initiative 7. What's the next one up? 8. We have an 8 or a 9. Otherwise, 10 is next. 8 or a 9. Nope. So 10 is next. That is the French finally, and that's going to be unit groups 2 and 3. here. So yes, they will be moving, and I will pause for that. Alright, I think that completes the movement phase. Again, with the British, it was easy enough. They stayed in line, elected to stay in line, not change formation. I did have this French group move up 1 hex. They didn't move. That's part of unit group 4. I need to move those two. Let me do that real quick and we'll come back. Obviously the stream is fordable, otherwise they would have to use a bridge. So alright, unit group 4 all moved up 1. Change formation on their artillery here so they can move next round. Unit group 5 moved up, and half of our cavalry group moved because the other half, this half over here, is out of command. Just knocked him over. And so I was able to move him up 1, but I then transferred the leader to the opposite flank so they can move next go around, and these guys will be out of command, so kind of topsy-turvy until they can meet up, pull forward, meet up. What really needs to happen is these attack commands aren't doing anybody any good. I understand it's a mandatory order and now that's the scenario began, but we really need maneuver orders to get going, to get where we want to be, especially considering the British are just holding back and not moving either, so it's kind of slowing things down. I think the only fire we had was over here, right? And looks like that's where it's going to thicken up a little bit on the British right flank. So that's where we're at currently. We have no charges or melee that can happen, I believe. Yeah, the British have no cavalry at all. So it's just the French that benefit from that. That is the end of turn 1. Actually, I take that back. There is melee because we have these units here that are adjacent. So unit group 3 has an initiative of 10, while British unit group 6 has an initiative of 5. British will go first. Let's roll that up. Not going to be too promising for ye old British because they're in line. Unit group 6, that's our light infantry with no melee value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's going to drop back down to 3 because the French are in column. So -3 and rolled an 8, so not good enough. French fire back. That is unit group 3. That is our light infantry. No good melee stuff for them either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Drop back down to 7. So -7. See how you benefit from being in column and in melee. -7, and we rolled a 2, so that's an automatic critical hit. Rolled a 4, and that is remove a stand, so they take a hit. And that's the end of that. That should effectively be the end of turn 1. We'll start turn 2. Move the rabbit down to turn 2. When he gets to the end, that is the end. Moving down the track. Alright, so again, who wants maneuver orders? Well, I would say unit group 5, the cavalry, and unit group 4. So left to right, let's do the cavalry first. That is these guys. We're going to need 10-sided die. 10-sided die. Someone. There we go. 10-sided die, and we want 11 or higher. We will add their what? Their first number is their orders value. So he has an orders value of 5. Need 11 or higher. Let's go ahead and roll that. See if they can change. Roll a 9, so yes, they changed that to a maneuver order. Anybody else? Yes. That was going to be unit group 5. Unit group 5 is our light infantry. Orders value of 4. He could not change. Unit Group 4 is Line Infantry. Leader has an orders value of 3, not very good. We rolled a 10, no, so they've got it. Maneuver order. That's all we need for the French. For the British, you know, I mean, it's silly to leave these guys hanging back here like this. So, Unit Group 4, leader has an orders value of 2, which is horrible. Does not get it. Let's go ahead and do Unit Group 2 and 3. Leader has an orders value of 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 does not get it. What about Unit Group 5? Do we even need to mess with that? Because an attack move puts me here. I'm not going to worry about it. So there's our orders changes. We will hop right into the movement and fire phase. Looking for the lowest, which was, we have a British 5. I think he's who went first to last. Yeah. So initiative 5 is Unit Group 6 and 7. Let's go ahead and fire here. We'll bring that up. That is light infantry, so +2 unit fire value per each figure or stand firing. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in column, so 8, -8 coming at them. Roll a 10, gives us a hit, something. Roll a 4, all hits so far, I'll take it. The morale checks grow wearisome for me, so he'll now have 2 hits. And this guy is going to do likewise, or no, he's not. He will have to wheel. Believe you can wheel and line. Let me pause and verify that. Yep, can move, or rather, can't move because they're in line, but we can wheel. And I should have done this off camera. 1 hex corner, so that will put the French effectively in line of sight of British Unit Group 7 now, so that's good. And so that was, and it's move or fire, so that's their action. That was 5. We have a 6, yes we do. There's our artillery. Nothing in sight yet. After this turn they will. Unit Group 7. Oh, I'm sorry, Initiative 7, that's Unit Group 2 and 3. Could not change their order. Can we still change formation even though, yeah, we can change formation. We just didn't get them in there. So let me pause and change their formation here. Formation changed. Now they're in column, which means they will be able to move next turn. Even if it's an attack order, they'll still be able to move 1 hex. That was 2 and 3 with an initiative of 7, leaving 8, 9. I don't think we have 8 or 9, right? Nope. So that brings us straight to 10, which is French Unit Groups 2 and 3. In column can move if we like, and I think we like. So let me pause and bring these two. I'm going to leave him here. I'm going to bring these 2 up. All right, moved up. Move these 2 up here. That was 2 and 3. Initiative 10. 11, 12, 13. Anyone? We do not have that. So now it's 14, which is our light infantry over here. Unit Group 5. We'll move them up. Alright, Unit Group 5 moved up. I thought they had a maneuver order. I guess they failed, huh? Is that what happened with them? So that was Initiative 14. 15, 16. We do have a 15. That's British Unit Group 4. Who I think they failed theirs as well, right? So we'll simply do a formation change on them. Talking about these guys here, which you probably can't see. These guys right here. Alright, they're now in column. That was Unit Group 4 with an initiative of 15. If anybody has a 16, otherwise it's going to be British 17. This is our Highlanders. Unit Group 5 right here. Have an attack order. This terrain is pretty much just for show. So they have line of sight, especially if we just move it out of the way. So they can just fire, which is what we'll do. Again, these are the Highlanders with a fire value of +2, so that's pretty good. Let's tally this up. Starting with this unit. So again, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, -8. We get 6, 7, 8, 9. So yes, that is a hit. Still haven't had to do a morale check. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a hit and a retreat. Hit and a retreat. He does not have a hit yet. So that'll push him back below the ridge, which again is just for looks more than anything. Push him back. Out of the range of fire of the other unit. No? We've got range to this guy here. Yep. And it'll be the same thing, -8. Wow, rolled an 11. So he misses it. Alright. That's how it goes. That was our Highlanders, and they had an initiative of 17. That leaves 19, the French artillery, who changed formation and unlimbered. So they'll move up 1. And we'll come right back after doing that. Alright, moved the French artillery up and fed the cat. Feeding the cat was a free action. I did not have to be in command to do that. And that leaves, that was artillery. We should have, yes, 2 units that have a maneuver order. God bless them. The cavalry, which now I can still only move half, but this time it's the other half. Because if you remember, I had to switch the leader to bring the other side in command. Now that he is in command, he can move up 2. Probably should have paused the camera, do this quickly, and swing that leader back around to the other half of this cavalry unit to put them back in command next turn. And they'll be out of command, so what a mess. What a mess. Okay, and then finally, Unit Group 4, which is our amphibious units currently, need to move up, or can move up too with the maneuver order. Yes. Alright, they have moved up, and now they'll have to next turn change their maneuver order to an attack order because they can't move adjacent to any enemy with a maneuver order. That brings us to the melee charge phase. Nobody is within close enough range to charge, cavalry speaking, but we still have melee that can take place here with the, again, British going first. Let me check this here. That is Unit Group 6, our light infantry, 0, melee value, 1, 2, 3, 4. They do have grenadiers in there, and I think I'm going to start doing this. Let me pause for a second. Yeah, this is an optional rule I never use, but there is a unit composition type thing for each unit. It can consist of regular, skirmish, or grenadiers. Now this unit does have, again, 2 grenadiers, so that's going to be an extra -2. So, -2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -7 drops to -5. Not bad, not bad, but they rolled an 8, so needing a 2 or less, that doesn't do it. French fire back, or conduct close combat back. That is Unit Group 3 with 1 grenadier unit. Actually, the British only had 1 grenadier. So 1 grenadier, that's going to be -1. -2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Goes back down to 6. -6. Roll a 5, so we've got it. Watch, it'll be a morale check. Of course it is. There's our first morale check of the game. 4 morale check, so the easiest way to do this is let's D10 it. Oh, that's an automatic success. Rolled a 10, so he's good. No problem there. All right, and what else for the rest of this turn phase doodad hickey thing? We've got rally phase. Nobody is routing, so we don't have to worry about that. That brings us to turn 3. And let me check the time on here. About 30 minutes. I'm going to keep it about 30 minutes. We'll come back either later tonight or another time to turn 3 to quickly recap. Not much going on except for over here. British holding back or being forced to hold back because of failure to change orders. And French steadily moving up along here. We've got the center coming in now. So within firing range of each other here, here, and the French right and the British left still trying to close the gap. And we have what looks like reserves here for the British, but they aren't. Simply can't get going. They either need to change orders or change formation, or both, rather, to start moving up and close that gap. So that's where we're at. And I believe the victory conditions for this are simply light them up. Who can conduct the most damage? Yep. And that goes for hits or eliminated units in route where that moved off the game board. And each eliminated gunner for the artillery counts as 2 figures instead of 1. All right, so there you go. About a half hour. Short and sweet. We'll see you soon.